Today our topic is how to use Stoicism to overcome fear. Fear is a natural part of life. Everyone feels fear at some point. It might be fear of failure, fear of losing something, fear of the unknown, or even fear of death. But fear does not have to control us. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, teaches us how to face fear and live a better life. Stoicism is not about ignoring fear or pretending it doesn't exist. It is about understanding fear and learning how to deal with it in a calm and rational way. The Stoics believe that fear comes from our own thoughts and judgments, not from the things happening around us. This means we have the power to control how we react to fear. Let me explain how Stoicism can help us overcome fear and live with courage and peace. First, let's understand what fear is. Fear is an emotion that arises when we think something bad might happen. For example, if you are afraid of speaking in public, it is not the act of speaking that scares you. It is your thoughts about what might go wrong. You might think, what if I make a mistake? What if people laugh at me? These thoughts create fear. Stoicism teaches us that fear is not in the event itself, but in our mind's interpretation of the event. This is an important idea because it means we can change how we think about fear. If we change our thoughts, we can change how we feel. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot control. This is called the dichotomy of control. The Stoics believe that many things in life are outside our control, such as the weather, other people's opinions, or even death. But what we can control is our own thoughts, actions, and reactions. When we focus on what we can control, we feel more empowered and less afraid. For example, if you are afraid of failing an exam, you cannot control the questions on the exam or the grading process. But you can control how much you study and how well you prepare. By focusing on your preparation, you reduce your fear and increase your confidence. Another Stoic practice that helps overcome fear is negative visualization. This might sound strange, but it is a powerful tool. Negative visualization means imagining the worst-case scenario and thinking about how you would handle it. For example, if you are afraid of losing your job, imagine what would happen if you actually lost it. What steps would you take to find a new job? How would you manage your finances? By thinking about the worst-case scenario and planning for it, you realize that even the worst outcomes are manageable. This reduces fear because you see that you can handle whatever life throws at you. Stoicism also teaches us to accept things as they are. This does not mean we should not try to improve our lives or avoid problems. It means we should accept the reality of the situation and not waste energy resisting it. For example, if you are afraid of getting old, you cannot stop time. Aging is a natural part of life. Instead of fearing it, you can accept it and focus on living a meaningful life at every stage. Acceptance helps us let go of fear and live in the present moment. Another important Stoic idea is to see challenges as opportunities for growth. The Stoics believe that difficulties are not obstacles, but chances to become stronger and wiser. When we face fear, we have the opportunity to practice courage and resilience. For example, if you are afraid of public speaking, each time you speak in front of a group, you are building your confidence and skills. Over time, this reduces your fear and makes you a better speaker. Instead of avoiding fear, we should embrace it as a way to grow. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of perspective. Fear often comes from seeing things in a negative or exaggerated way. For example, if you are afraid of flying, you might focus on the small chance of a plane crash and ignore the fact that flying is one of the safest ways to travel. The Stoics encourage us to look at situations objectively and not let our emotions distort reality. By seeing things as they truly are, we can reduce unnecessary fear. One of the Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that fear is not caused by external events, but by our own reactions. If we can change how we react, we can overcome fear. For example, if you are afraid of criticism, you can choose to see criticism as feedback rather than an attack. This shift in perspective can reduce your fear and help you learn and grow. Another Stoic philosopher, Marcus Aurelius, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realizes this, and you will find strength. This reminds us that fear comes from within, and we have the power to overcome it. By training our minds to stay calm and rational, we can face fear with courage. This does not mean we will never feel fear, but we can learn to manage it and not let it control us. Stoicism also teaches us to practice gratitude. When we focus on the things we are grateful for, we shift our attention away from fear and toward the positive aspects of life. For example, if you are afraid of losing your job, you can focus on the skills and experiences you have gained from your work. This helps you see that even if you lose your job, you still have valuable skills and opportunities. Gratitude helps us appreciate what we have and reduces our fear of losing it. Another Stoic practice is to live in accordance with nature. This means accepting the natural order of life, including its ups and downs. The Stoics believe that life is full of changes, and we cannot control everything. By accepting this, we can let go of fear and live more peacefully. For example, if you are afraid of change, you can remind yourself that change is a normal part of life. Instead of resisting it, you can adapt and find new opportunities in the changes. Finally, Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own character and values. The Stoics believe that true happiness comes from living a virtuous life, not from external achievements or possessions. When we focus on being honest, kind, and courageous, we build a strong inner foundation that helps us face fear. For example, if you are afraid of failure, you can focus on doing your best and staying true to your values rather than worrying about the outcome. This gives you a sense of purpose and reduces your fear. In conclusion, Stoicism offers many tools to help us overcome fear. By understanding that fear comes from our thoughts, focusing on what we can control, practicing negative visualization, accepting reality, seeing challenges as opportunities, maintaining perspective, and then practicing gratitude, we can face fear with courage and peace. Stoicism reminds us that fear is not something to be avoided, but something to be understood and managed. By applying these Stoic principles, we can live a more fearless and fulfilling life. Remember, fear is a part of life, but it does not have to control us. We have the power to overcome fear and live with strength and wisdom.